Last time I talked about the Switch 2, I discussed everything I wanted for the system itself. I did talk a little about apps, such as wanting a proper internet browser, as well as stuff like Netflix and Disney+, but that was more on the general side of things. This time I want to go fully in depth and talk about what I want to see from the games. I want to say I'll only be talking about franchises I'm actually familiar with, so stuff like Pokemon or Xenoblade. I'm not going to talk about anything like Zelda, Splatoon, basically anything that I don't know about or care for. The only exception to this is Metroid, because I find that easy to talk about when it comes to one particular game. With that said, we might as well just start with Metroid actually. I think no matter what, it's finally time to see Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 was initially announced almost 7 years ago in June 2017 at E3, and was announced to be in development by Bandai Namco. And then tragedy struck. After that initial announcement, nothing was shown or mentioned for Prime 4 until January 25th, 2019, where the game was said to be restarting development from scratch due to lack of quality and trust in the product, and would now be under the original makers of the Prime series, Retro Studios. That was over 5 years ago now, and since then we've seen nothing of the game, not even any screenshots of the game or any leaks. My thought process is that I believe this is going to be a launch title for the Switch 2, and I think the game is definitely coming soon. It's been 5 years now, possibly 6 years depending when the Switch 2 releases. I feel like, especially with excitement for Metroid returning with the release of Dread and the Metroid Prime 1 remaster, there's definitely something big cooking, and I'm sure we're going to see it pretty soon. Next thing on the list, however, is Animal Crossing, and we're definitely getting an Animal Crossing within the Switch 2's lifetime, and honestly, there's not much I can ask for with a new Animal Crossing. But I do know the one thing I can ask for is to just make it fun. New Horizons was fun for a month, and then after that it got insanely boring with an astounding lack of content, and the gameplay loop just being repetitive and too grindy in certain areas. I haven't touched the game in years, honestly, because I just haven't seen a reason to go back to it. Every time I swear I'll pick the game up again and start playing it, but I just don't, because then I remember why I fell out of love with the game in the first place. After you roll credits, there's just nothing really to do. The main thing I want for the next Animal Crossing is consistent content, for the game to stay fun after the credits roll, instead of everything feeling aimless and boring. If they can do that, I'll be happy. Smash Bros is the next game I want to talk about, and this is quite a big one. After Smash Ultimate, a lot of people have been asking the question of, what's next? I mean, Smash Ultimate was quite literally the ultimate experience. It had every single character from the previous entries and also added new ones alongside them. I think the best answer is to refresh. Now, obviously I'm not saying go back to 12 characters a game, that'd be insanely stupid, and a lot of people would be very unhappy with that. I do think we should cut down the roster though. I'm not going to say who or what, because I want to save that for a different video, but keep the essentials and get rid of the less popular characters. I'd also want to see way more representation for other series like Xenoblade, Sonic, Persona, Final Fantasy, etc. Speaking of Sonic, some characters definitely are in need of a big rework, and Sonic is one of those. Sonic's moveset consists of a great total of, let's see here. Spin Dash, Spin Dash 2, Spin Dash 3, Spin Dash 4, a spring, a homing attack, and some basic punches and kicks. So much variety, as you can tell. With the release of Sonic Frontiers, I'd love to see Sonic undergo a rework to include his Frontiers moveset. It'd be cool to see his air attacks include a quick side loop or cross slash. Just make his moveset have more than the Spin Dash and I'll be happy. I also want an actually good story mode. What is the point of having all these characters come together in one big event if I can't see them speak to each other? I just want a cool story mode. I want to see Mythra speak to Sonic. I want to see Star Fox team up with Sora. And assuming they have voice acting as well, which it really should considering it's a first-party Nintendo title, then there should also be in-match dialogue as well. If Multiversus could do it, you have no excuse, Nintendo. Moving on, I want to discuss the main mascot himself, Mario. Mario has so many sub-franchises that instead of just making them separate sections, I'll just discuss the ones I care about here. And luckily, there aren't many of those. Let's start off with the thing everyone's been wondering about for a while. Its last entry was in 2017, and is considered one of the best games of all time, and a must-have for the Switch. That's right, I want to discuss Mario Kart 9. I think Mario Kart 9 has a very simple answer. It's the same thing as Smash, really. Just refresh, cut down the tracks, and also just give us a cool new gimmick. In my opinion, the best new gimmick to do would be the Wonder Flower. Have the tracks change in every race to keep stuff new and exciting. Speaking of the Wonder Flower, I also want to talk just a little about 2D Mario. Now, I know we just got Wonder, so it's safe to assume we are getting a new 2D Mario for at least 2 to 3 years, but I think the next 2D Mario shouldn't be a Wonder sequel. We know that the team was given infinite time to make this game. There's a good chance they've probably done everything they wanted to, which is also why I don't think we'll see DLC for Wonder. So the next game should be fully original. While Wonder was a perfect platformer, I think if they keep doing it, it'll fall into the new soup trap where every game feels and looks the same. Be much more interesting if they kept every game fresh and unique. There's also the topic of 3D Mario, and oh boy, what a topic. I think it's too late for an Odyssey sequel. Odyssey was incredible, but I feel like if Nintendo was going to follow up on it again, they would have done so by now. So again, I think the next game is going to be fully original. All I ask is they keep what Odyssey perfected, mainly the movement, which I doubt they won't. Now it's time to talk about the big franchises for me. Pokemon is a massive part of this channel, and so what do I want for Pokemon for the Switch successor? Well, while writing this video, we already got a look at one of the games for Switch, and the Switch successor most likely, Pokemon Legends ZA, so that's one thing I wanted already checked off. For ZA, the fact that it's just Kalos, which is my favorite region, is enough for me to not really care about what they do. Just give me a good fucking story, have the game be polished and the gameplay be enjoyable, and I will be fine. I already trust the writing team after Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet, so no matter what, I'm confident the story will be good. Pokemon Company just needs to let Game Freak work and delay when asked. Game Freak, as much as everyone is scared to admit, knows what they're doing. They have the source, they know what people want, and that is shown through Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus. The reason those games turned out like they did is because the Pokemon Company wouldn't let Game Freak have a delay. On topic of Scarlet and Violet though, what about Generation 10? Well, I personally do not want to see Generation 10 until at least 2026 or 2027. I think the 3 years between each generation worked when we were in the 2D and 3DS eras of games, but now that we're in the Switch era and games require more and more time and effort putting into them, 3-year gaps just aren't sustainable. There needs to be 5 years at least between each new generation if Pokemon wants to reach the quality it should be at. For the gameplay of Generation 10 though, I do want to see them expand on everything Gen 9 and Legends Arceus set out to do. Again, like I said with ZA, I trust the writing team currently, so I'm not too worried about that. For one-to-one remakes, personally I just hope Gen 5 remakes aren't handled by Ilka, and please, no more chibi style unless it's like Let's Go. And finally, we have easily my favorite Nintendo franchise currently, Xenoblade. There is not much I can ask from Monolith Soft personally. They're already an incredible company providing us with experiences that are genuinely so heartfelt and well made. With that said, all I really want is a Xenoblade Warriors game and a Xenoblade X remaster. Xenoblade X is the only Xenoblade game that isn't on Switch right now. A lot of people have been asking for a remaster for a while, especially since it's only available on Wii U, which, yeah, I don't have to explain to you why that's a problem. A lot of people, including myself, aren't currently able to experience this game just because of that. While on the topic of remasters, while this isn't too likely, I would like to see a Xenosaga remaster. With Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed including multiple references to Xenosaga and Cosmos, even featuring in Xenoblade 2 as an unlockable blade, it'd be very cool to see Xenosaga get remastered. From what I understand, Bandai Namco and Monolith also have a pretty good relationship, so it's not totally impossible for this to happen. And while this isn't necessarily a one, and it's probably going to be controversial to say the least, I would like to see Xenoblade 2 get not specifically a remaster, but some kind of upgrade or next-gen patch. I beat Xenoblade 2 very recently, and it doesn't really run the best, and cutscenes are also pretty damn laggy. Any kind of update to improve performance would be pretty appreciated, but very unlikely. There's also, of course, Xenoblade 4, which I don't really know what to say other than I really want to see the future Ionios, or whatever they call the new world post-Xenoblade 3. Or, of course, it could not be called Xenoblade 4 at all, and be a completely new subtitle, but who knows at this point. And finally, I want to discuss Xenoblade Warriors. I genuinely think a Warriors title would be awesome. You don't even need to make it canon, just have us see all 3 casts together in their prime. It'd genuinely be incredible. Also, a hack and slash game would just be perfect for Xenoblade. That's pretty much everything though. I tried to cover as much as I cared about in this video and not include anything I wasn't familiar with. I also wanted to leave out obvious things, like obviously we're getting a new Zelda title on Splatoon 4. I could bet my entire family on that one and never have to worry. This video was mainly dedicated to what I want, but I would also like to see what you'd want, so be sure to comment and tell me what you want to see for the next Nintendo system. Also, while we're at it, go ahead and like and subscribe, and join members if you feel like it. I want to try doing more members-only content soon, so go ahead and join up to see what I do over there. It's only £2 and helps support me. With that said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.